Welcome to 3.5 Solving Systems Using Matrices. We are going to use matrices in a calculator to solve a system of equations. Yes, you will need a graphing calculator. If you have one from your previous math class, go ahead and grab it. And if you don't, you should have an application installed in your Chrome browser for a TI graphing calculator. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to write the augmented matrix, and basically that's going to just mean our matrix where I have our coefficients and our answers. It's just a fancy way of saying it, of the following systems of equations and solve using a calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all three equations and I'm going to write them in my matrix. So remember, your first equation is going to be the first row, and you're only going to write the coefficients of x, y, z, and your answer. Then we're going to do the same thing for the second row and the third row. Once you have your matrix done, it's time to move to your calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and split my screen. I have my calculator on the left and my notes on the right. I do have the steps written out in this little box on the right-hand side of your paper, but I am going to walk you through them right now. So first, what we have to do is enter our matrix into the calculator. So we're going to want to go to second, and then you're going to want to go to X inverse. You should see the little word matrix written above it. So we're going to hit this button, and then we're going to go over to edit. So I'm going to hit the right button two times. Now, it does not matter which matrix you edit. Typically, I recommend just editing A. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to ask you what are your rows and what are your columns, your dimensions. So I have 1, 2, 3, 3 rows, and I'm going to hit enter. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Now, the one thing that's going to look different from our matrix in our calculator and our matrix on the paper is going to be, it's not going to have the line there, but it's okay. It's still the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my numbers. So make sure that you are copying your numbers from your matrix exactly the same. I did notice that I forgot my negative sign on the 11. So make sure you have negative 11 because that's what our answer is for the first equation. So once you have your matrix typed in, now you're going to want to find reduced row echelon form. So the way we do that, you're going to have to exit the matrix editor first. So we do that by going to second, mode, which is quit, and we're back at the home screen for the calculator. Now we're going to go back into the matrix menu. So second, X inverse, and then we're going to go over to math, and we're going to go down all the way to the letter B. It should say RREF. That's reduced row echelon form. I'm going to hit enter. And then we have the action in place, but we have to tell it what matrix to apply it to. So I'm going to go back, second, X inverse, and I'm going to tell it I want it to find reduced row echelon form of matrix A. I'm going to hit enter, and your calculator screen should look like this. Once you have this done, all you have to do is hit enter one more time, and it's going to put out reduced row echelon form. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, what does this mean? Remember, a matrix is a system of equations. We said the first column represents x. So x equals 4, y equals 3, and z equals negative 1. So we have our values for x, y, and z. Now remember, if I don't have any word problems or I don't have any context, we always write our answer as an ordered triplet. Let me go ahead and highlight my final answer. Now, moving on to number 2. First thing that I notice is that my equations are not in correct order. I want to do x, y, z equals answer. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my first equation, my second equation, and my third equation. I'm going to take the coefficients and the answers, and I'm going to write them in my matrix. 3, 3, 3, 18, 1, 4, 1, 0, 2, 5, negative 1, because negative z is negative 1, negative 9. Now I'm going to go to my calculator again, going to plug in this matrix, and I'm going to find reduced row echelon form. I'm going to walk you through this one more time, and then I'll pick up the pace as we go through the next problem. I'm going to go back to second matrix. I'm going to go over to edit. Now you can just edit matrix A. So I'm just going to hit enter, and it's still going to be a 3 rows by 4 columns matrix. So I'm just going to go down to my data, and I'm going to start entering and editing it to match my new matrix. And you want to be careful with negatives, especially on your Chromebooks, because I believe if you type the minus sign on your keyboard, it will read it as an error. Now that I have my matrix in, I'm just going to go second quit. I'm going to go second matrix over to math. And you can go up, and it will take you quicker to reduce row echelon form. Second X inverse. I'm going to tell it I want it to apply it to A, and I'm going to hit enter. I get 3, -2, 5. So let's say that the solution to this matrix is going to be the ordered triplet 3, -2, 5. Now let's apply this to some word problems. 3 orders are placed at Pizza Hut by Ruby, Simon, and Chris. First, we have 2 small pizzas, a liter of soda, and a salad cost $14. 1 small pizza, a liter of soda, and 3 salads cost $15. 3 small pizzas, a liter of soda, and 2 salads cost $22. How much does 1 pizza and 1 salad cost? We're going to write and solve a system of equations to answer the question. First thing when you encounter a word problem is you should be defining your variables. So let's say X is going to represent the cost, and I will equate a dollar sign with cost if that's what you want to use in your describing the variables. Cost of small pizza, Y is the cost of liter soda, and Z is the cost of salad. So first, let's take this equation by equation. The first one, we have 2 small pizzas, so that's going to be 2x, 1 liter of soda plus 1y plus 1 salad is going to cost $14. Now, if I want to write this in my matrix, it's going to be 2, 1, 1, 14. It's going to be the first row. Then I have 1 small pizza, a liter of soda, and 3 salads cost $15. So x plus y plus 3z equals 15. That's 1, 1, 3, 15. Then I have 3 small pizzas, a liter of soda, and 2 salads are going to cost $22. That's going to be 3x plus y plus 2z equals 22. That's going to give me 3, 1, 2, 22. So I'm going to skip over the calculator input. I do want you to try it on your own. Now that you've entered it in your calculator, you should have gotten a reduced row echelon form that was x equals 5, y equals 1, and z equals 3. Now, remember to answer the question in the end. Don't just say cost of small pizza is this, cost of liter soda is this, cost of salad is this. You have to actually say what the question is asking. And they want to know, how much does 1 pizza and 1 salad cost? Well, a pizza costs $5, a salad costs $3. If I add that together, 1 pizza and 1 salad costs $8. Okay, looking at number 4, the sum of 3 numbers is 16. The largest number is equal to the sum of the other 2, and 3 times the smallest number is 1 more than the largest. We want to find the product of the numbers. Write and solve a system of equations to answer the question. So let's first start by defining our variables. I'm going to say let x be the smallest number, y is going to be the middle number, and z is going to be the largest number. Now, I'm using smallest and largest because that is how my questions are being written, how my equations are being told to me. So the sum, which is addition of the 3 numbers, is 16. So x plus y plus z equals 16. That's 1, 1, 1, 16. The largest number which is z, is equal to the sum, which is the addition of the other two. So that's going to be z is equal to x plus y. Now remember, you want these to be in order. So I need to subtract x and I need to subtract y. You could go ahead and rewrite it, but I'm just going to do it in my row of my matrix. That's going to give me negative 1x, negative 1y, plus z is equal to 0. The last one is 3 times the smallest number. So that's going to be 3x is equal to 1 more than the largest. So the largest number plus 1. That's going to give me 3x equals z plus 1. Now again, remember we wanted x, y, z answer. So I get 3, 0, negative 1, positive 1. Now pause, put this in your calculator, see what x, y, and z are. Now that you've typed this in your calculator, let's go ahead and see. The reduced row echelon form should have been 3, 5, 8. Now the product of these three numbers is 120. For number 5, Lauren bought 3 types of candy for Halloween: Nerds, Skittles, and Airheads. She brought home 14 bags of candy and paid $33.75. She remembers seeing a sale sign that said Skittles were twice the price of Nerds, Airheads were 75% or 75 cents less than Skittles. She has 3 bags of Nerds, 6 bags of Skittles, and 5 bags of Airheads. She wonders which bag of candy was the most expensive, but she lost her receipt. Write and solve a system of equations to help Lauren. Now, this is a problem that has a little bit more information than we need. They tell you she bought 14 bags total, but really, I don't need that information. So I'm going to just go based off of what I currently have highlighted. First, I'm going to say, let x be the cost of Nerds, y be the cost of Skittles, and z be the cost of Airheads. And then I'm going to write my first equation. She bought 3 bags of Nerds, so 3x plus 6 bags of Skittles, 6y, plus 5 bags of Airheads, 5z, and she paid $33.75. Now, the other two equations are going to come from the sales that were happening. Skittles were twice the price of Nerds. So Skittles were more expensive. So it's going to be y is equal to 2x. Airheads were 75 cents less than Skittles. So I'm going to have z is equal to y minus 0.75. Going to put this information into my matrix. Now remember, you're going to want x, y, z answer. Very important, especially when you have equations that aren't written in that form already. Now pause again, put this information into your calculator, do our REF, and see if we get the same answer. So now that you've calculated it, let's go ahead and see. My reduced row echelon form was x equals $1.50, y equals $3, and z equals $2.25. Now, the most expensive, because that's what we want to find, which bag of candy was the most expensive, were the Skittles at $3. Number 6, we have French roast coffee cost $5.20 a pound. Colombian coffee costs $4 a pound. How much of each kind should be used for a 100-pound mixture that can be sold for $4.72 a pound? Write and solve a system of equations to answer the question. Now, there are a couple of things we have to go over first. I am trying to figure out how much of each coffee is going to be needed to make this 100-pound mixture. Now let's define our variables. I said let x be pounds of French roast, y be pounds of Colombian. Now we know that we want the pounds total to be 100. So I'm going to say x plus y equals 100. Now I want to do costs. So French roast coffee costs $5.20, Colombian costs $4. So I know 520x plus $4 Y is going to equal something. Now I know you want to write 472. Now, does that make sense? Does that make sense for me to sell coffee that already costs $5.20 and $4 for $4.72 only? No, it doesn't. I'm selling 100 pounds of this $4.72 mixture. So the profit really is going to be $472 because I'm selling 100 pounds of it. Now that I have my system of equations written, I'm going to write a matrix. So I have my first row is going to be from my first equation, 1, 1, 100. Second row is going to be from my second equation. Now, I am going to walk you through this one in your calculator. So this one is a little different only because I'm solving for 2 variables and not 3. So I'm going to go back to second matrix, over to edit, and I'm still going to work with matrix A, but this time I only have 2 rows and I only have 1, 2, 3 columns. So that's just going to change the dimensions of my matrix. I'm going to enter my data, $5.20, $4, and $472. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Now, a neat trick that your calculator can do, if you keep working with matrix A, you can just hit second entry if you've already done a reduced row echelon form. It's going to recall that same thing and it's going to work for your new matrix. So I have x equals 60, y equals 40. So based on that, I'm going to need 60 pounds of French roast and 40 pounds of Colombian coffee for this 100-pound mixture.